Rain tapped gently against the window pane, a quiet rhythm that echoed the stillness inside. Sophia sat curled up in an armchair, a knitted blanket over her legs and an open journal resting untouched in her lap. The resort was picturesque perched between sea and cliffs, but the solitude was beginning to feel more like loneliness than peace. She had come to escape, hoping that silence and distance would soothe the sting of her last heartbreak. But, instead of clarity, she found echoes. A chill crept through the cracks in the old window. The heater had stopped working hours ago, and despite her layers, the cold had sunk into her bones. After a few moments of indecision, she picked up the room phone and called the front desk. Her voice was soft but steady. "Hi, the heater's out in room 207. Could someone take a look?" Less than 10 minutes later, there was a knock at the door. She opened it to find two men standing there, both wearing staff badges and warm smiles. "I'm Liam," the taller one said in a calm, steady voice. "Maintenance." His eyes met hers, thoughtful, almost searching. The second man stepped forward with a playful grin. "I'm Noah, concierge. I figured I'd tag along. Never hurts to lend a hand." They shared a brief glance, familiar, unexpected. Sophia noticed but didn't comment. She stepped aside to let them in, her heartbeat quickening. Liam quietly got to work on the heater, while Noah made conversation. He asked about her stay, the ocean view, the muffins at breakfast. His easy charm pulled a smile from her lips. First in days, Liam moved with quiet focus, testing wires and dials. When she looked his way, he gave a small nod, reassuring and calm. Moments later, the heater rumbled to life, humming low and steady. "Should be good now," Liam said, wiping his hands. "And if not," Noah added with a grin, "just call Evan, if it is working. We don't mind." They lingered a moment. Too long. Like neither wanted to leave. Sophia felt it too, a tension, not of discomfort, but curiosity. Something had shifted. She didn't know what it was, only that it wasn't over. The next morning, as she walked toward the cafe, she saw them again. Liam leaned against the counter, coffee in hand. Noah chatted animatedly near the fireplace. She hesitated, but Noah saw her and lit up. "Morning, room 207. Liam turned to, his eyes warm with familiarity. They joined her for coffee, but effortless. Conversation flowed naturally, as if they'd known each other far longer than a day. Noah made her laugh with stories from the resort, ghost cats, honeymoon mix-ups. Liam asked deeper questions, quiet ones that made her reflect. She found herself opening up in ways she hadn't expected. That evening, Noah found her reading in the garden. He didn't ask to sit, he simply did. "You looked like you could use company," he said softly. They talked for hours about music, regrets, and small defining moments. When his hand brushed hers, she didn't move away. The next day, it was Liam who sought her out. He invited her for a walk along the cliffs. The sky was brushed with evening light as they walked in silence. Then he said, "You remind me of a piece I forgot I missed." His words were honest, unpolished, and they touched something she hadn't realized was still closed off. That night, Sophia lay in bed, her thoughts restless. Two different men, two very different connections. With Noah, she felt alive again, carefree, able to laugh without guilt. With Liam, she felt seen, known in a quiet, grounding way. She wasn't torn. She was simply overwhelmed by how quickly her heart had opened. A storm swept in on the third night, knocking out the power. Guests gathered in the dim lobby, where candles flickered in glasses and laughter filled the room. She saw them both, and Liam standing apart, yet close enough to suggest a shared past. She joined them, and in the soft candlelight, something softened between all three of them. For a moment, the need for answers faded. They simply belonged. But the next morning, something had changed. Noah seemed quieter, less vibrant. Liam, though steady, had a weight behind his calm. A subtle tension lingered. Later, as she waited for tea, Sophia overheard two staff members mention how both men had shown up to her room that night and planned. The coincidence didn't sit right anymore. She found Noah by the pool and asked him directly. His smile faded. "We weren't both supposed to go," he admitted. "I saw the maintenance call come in, and, I don't know, I just felt like I should be there." Later, she asked Liam the same thing. "I thought it was just another routine fix," he said. Didn't expect him to show up too, but I wasn't surprised either. The truth unraveled. Slowly. Years ago, the two had been close childhood friends turned co-workers. A woman had come between them, not because of who she chose, but because of what was left unsaid afterward. Their silence had fractured the bond. Sophia, unknowingly, had walked into the unfinished story. She brought them together. No hesitation, no pretense. She told them how she felt drawn to both, but she refused to be the cause of reopened wounds. "You matter to me," she said, clearly, "but not at the cost of your peace." There was a long silence. Then Noah said, "Maybe this isn't about choosing. Maybe it's about being honest." Liam nodded. "We've been needing this talk for years. Just didn't know you'd be the one to bring it." Sophia stepped back, not to retreat, but to give space. She didn't want to break anything. She wanted to help mend it. That night, she looked out at the sea under the moonlight. What she felt wasn't heartbreak, it was peace. She had come to heal her own pain, and somehow found herself part of healing theirs too. On her final day, she woke with a calm she hadn't felt in years. Not everything had been resolved, but everything had been spoken. She packed slowly, not rushed, grounded in the knowledge that she had stayed true to herself. Later, a note appeared under her door. No name, just a simple message. "Meet us where the view holds your gaze. One last coffee." She smiled, knowing it was from both of them. They met at the cliffside garden, the ocean stretching wide and endless. Noah handed her a coffee, sweet and warm. Liam offered a small nod, filled with meaning. Their conversation was different, now slower, real. Liam spoke of how silence can feel like peace, but often it's fear. Noah admitted he'd used humor to hide his regrets. They both thanked her not for choosing, but for showing them how freeing honesty could be. Sophia didn't need a grand goodbye. Just the quiet joy of knowing something meaningful had taken place. As she boarded her flight, she looked out the window and smiled. She hadn't fallen in love in the traditional sense, but she had experienced something deeper, a connection, a shift, a healing. She had helped two people confront their pasts while reclaiming her own strengths. Love, she realized, doesn't always look like staying. Sometimes, it's about the change left behind when someone goes. And that, perhaps, is the most beautiful love story of all.